Converse a week.
Oh wow!
Like in the one store on Oxford Street. So yeah, insane, absolutely insane. Some of the figures that we were selling just on Converse, and then Vans, just those.
Oh, absolutely! All the skater shoes, right? So
yeah, ridiculous. Yeah.
That's the thing. Everything comes back around at some point or another in time. It's just a question of when. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing, but
for that. Shirley Bassey, history repeating.
Yeah. So, have you been working on new stuff? Do you have like any plans to start record again? Have you already started recording some new songs or?
Yeah, well, I went into the studio and did a load of live recordings with my full band a couple of weeks ago, and that's currently getting sort of remixed and things, and we're working through it track by track. There's going to be 4 tracks that we'll be giving away for free. And some of them have already been on the EP, but there is a new track too. So that's going to be really cool. The sound is incredibly different with the live band, so it's going to be really interesting to see what people's reactions are to that haven't seen the band live. We get a good reaction live, but you never know what it's going to be when people have only heard your EP and stuff.
Right.
I've got a charity single that's being prepared at the moment, and we're hoping to release that early next year. And that's going to be completely different again. It won't be something that I'll be playing with the live band. It is purely for the charities of my choice to do with homeless people. So that's going to be a whole new thing. And I've got plans for another EP for next spring as well. So there's a whole load of releases at the moment that my manager and I and my band and I are all working through in order to make sure that they are released at the right time, that each one of them has the right feel and the right content. But I'm writing songs all the time at the moment, so there's going to be a whole load of new fun stuff happening next year that I'm very excited about.
Well, right on, and I mean, and that's what makes it exciting is once people get a taste, they do want to hear more. And but essentially, when you're putting it out, you're right. It's got to be how you want to sound. And how you want it to come across, because otherwise it doesn't. It's kind of just a lost cause if you don't put it that way. Yeah,
absolutely. If you're not happy with the sound and then it goes out, you're just sitting there, and every time you hear it, you kind of sit and cringe on the inside. So, it's very, very important that these tracks come out at the right time with the right sound. But I'm very confident at the moment. I've heard some of the things just raw from the mixing desk, and there's some really cool sounds coming out. So I'm very excited to pass that on. And naturally, I will swing them your way as soon as they are ready.
Well, that's awesome. Now, the one thing I want to kind of jump back here for a second. Now, since you've been in the business for a little bit, now going from MySpace to now like Twitter, Facebook, SoundCloud, the whole deal. Mm-hmm. How I know it's essentially kind of revolutionized the music business a little bit. How's that been for you? Like how much is this kind of maybe not necessarily a shock to the system, but just how has this kind of worked for you, thinking like, you know what, first we're in this MySpace, which is huge. Now there's like it's a bit of exaggeration, but 50 million different ways of putting it out there. Like,
to be fair, it's not really that much of an exaggeration. I mean, I can be updating anything up to 20 or 30 websites, because there's no real way of linking all of them together. It's all very haphazard. There's not really one. I mean, yeah, you could say Facebook is one of the driving, and Twitter is, but unless you know how to use them and you really know how to tap into making sure that your fan base is seeing your posts and you're able to interact with them on certain levels, then they're not really that effective either. So actually, I mean, I'm studying music management, and the reason I'm doing that is because I fully understand that if I don't understand the business properly, I won't understand how my music can get out into the world properly, and how I can really engage with my fan base and make sure that people hear what I want to say and that I hear what they want to say. So MySpace was a great vehicle. Obviously it collapsed when silly people decided to make you subscribe to it.
Right.
Twitter and Facebook can very much be your friend as long as you know how to work it. And some of that is going to take money, because, these things are business models now, and they expect you to pay in order for people to see your posts and things a lot of the time. Really, the only thing you can do is be as active as you can, tour as much as you can, and talk as much as you can. And not just empty talk, but actual content talk. Talk to your fans, ask them what they're up to, where do they want to see you next, What do they want to hear? Are they enjoying what you're putting out there? And you know, actually engage with them on a one-on-one basis. When you see them at gigs and stuff, that's really the most effective way of doing anything. And then Twitter and Facebook become a vehicle for what you're doing on a personal level,
right?
As opposed to the other way around.
You know, I couldn't agree more. Just because people like myself, when we go to the shows or just even on Twitter, the fact that musicians, artists like yourself are answering back, it's such a good thing, because before, this never happened. People couldn't talk to the artists, because whether the band was live in the mainstream or not, there was no way to contact them. If you did, you'd never hear anything from them. Now the fact that they're talking back and forth, it's nice, because it makes the fan feel more connected.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And that's such a huge thing.
I think musicians as a whole are beginning to really wake up to that and realize that it's so important to be connected to your fan base. And really, if any musician thought about it themselves, like for example, have you heard of an artist called Scroobius Pip?
I have not, no.
Okay, he's a spoken word artist over here in the UK, and he's pretty big with regards to the music industry. And I commented on something on Instagram, and the fact that he replied to me, because I played one of his club nights, replied to me and suggested that I play another one of his club nights. I was fangirling all over the place. I screenshotted it. I sent it to people to have a look at. Look, he actually talked to me. How cool is this, And I have to remember that, if I get a response from somebody that I respect in the industry, that's how other people are feeling maybe when I'm responding to them, and you've got to respect that. You've got to realize that people are excited to be talking to you sometimes, and I'm fully excited that people want to talk to me, and hopefully I don't want that feeling to ever go away. I love the fact that people want to talk to me and want to ask me questions and want to find out about what I do, and as I say, I'm just as much of a fangirl over anybody talking to me too.
Well, that's absolutely brilliant, because for myself too, with a lot of the bands interview, I like all of them, but there's some I'm more excited to talk to than others, and I'm smiling the whole time, and half the time I'm thinking I hope I don't mess up a question, or just just because it's just so thrilling and exciting for me. And speaking of kind of reaching out to we'll say a bigger well-known person in Canada, there's a gentleman named Alan Cross, and he's very musically versed as to people he's interviewed and talked to, and he's kind of defined as a music geek. And he's interviewed a lot of big bands and that sort of thing, and I do follow him on Twitter just to see some of his updates. And I remember it's probably going about a year and a half ago, I found an article on a band that we mutually liked. They hadn't seen yet, so I posted it on his Twitter and sent him a link, and then lo and behold, I get a tweet back, and I took a picture of took a screensaver, took a picture of it, and saved it, because it says, it was a band called Ministry, and it was about their guitarist singer Aldrich Genson, and so I went back, he goes, I didn't see this, but I got this via DS3 bonus, thanks, Brian, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So,
like that, I hope one day I make somebody feel like that.
So, yeah.
But I love all of that interaction stuff, and it's so, I don't know, it's just the most exciting thing in the world to have somebody that you respect so highly, isn't it?
Well, absolutely.
To come back to be oh, Harry, thanks for that, thanks for getting in touch, or thanks for highlighting that for me, or whatever it is,
And this is sorry, go ahead. This is the main reason I like doing this stuff, because I remember when I first started doing this, I was really nervous about reaching out to bands, and a lot of times when I'd be checking the bands out on Twitter to see if they had a SoundCloud, that sort of thing, I see all these people have, let's say, 20,000 followers. I was thinking oh, they're never going to answer me, and at first I was a little reluctant to do so, but then when it started getting back to me, it's wow, this is impressive. I'm very, very pleased, but very impressed too. And then it just kind of little by little kind of grew and grew and grew, and now I'm at where I'm at now, and it's just nice, and it keeps expanding. It's been so much fun, and I just really appreciate the music I'm getting being sent, because I like nothing more than to to push these indie unsigned bands, or even just on small labels, because it's just a chance for me to kind of show people, or let more people listen to what I'm listening to and what I appreciate. And little by little now, people are saying, "Oh, these are cool bands, a cool band. Like, I haven't heard these guys before," and that's why it's what makes this so much fun for me. It's just spreading like the quote unquote universal language of music around.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you know what? Like, some of my favorite radio shows are like the independent ones, because they play so much stuff that you don't hear. You know, like you listen to things like XFM and Kerrang! And stuff here, and they've got a playlist, so you're going to hear the same things that are coming through from record companies all of the time. And so, you know, to have independent radio shows on the internet or otherwise, it's so cool. You know, not enough of this amazing music is being put out, so you're doing a really great job by doing that for people. So it's not unsurprising that you're getting some great feedback and getting people to come back to you, because 20,000 followers or 2 followers, to have somebody come to you and start giving airplay to your music, when before this kind of era of internet radio and stuff, we wouldn't be able to have that kind of airplay, you know, and you're giving a mouth to our voice. And that's an amazing thing. You
know, I wouldn't have it any other way. I just like, this is what I love doing. But 2.5 years ago, I would have said, no, you're crazy. There's no way this is gonna get this far. And like now it's like, I kind of, like I said, a little by little it's growing. And at some instances, it's still hard for me to kind of wrap my mind around it. Like, I just, I can't believe it. And just that's why almost all the time now I thank everybody for listening, and thank the fans and everything, just because it just makes my day, and I'm very appreciative of all the help I've gotten along the way.
Well, I'm going to tell you thank you, because, you know, at the end of the day, like, those fans and those listeners wouldn't have the opportunity, and I would not have the opportunity to have my music played in places like Canada and things if it wasn't for cool people like you seeking us out and giving us that airplay. So thank you.
You're very welcome. So, Millie, that's going to do it for the show. But thank you very, very much for taking the time to do this. I know you're a little busy, but it was fine. More than willing to wait till you came back from Paris to have your first out show gig to come on my show.
Dude, you are so very welcome. Thank you so much for asking me on your show to come and have a chat. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely my pleasure. And once the new songs start coming out, I would love to have you back on, talk more about them.
I will be sending them as soon as I have them in my sweaty little palms.
Right on. So, big thank you to Millie Manders for joining us this afternoon. And we'll be definitely keeping in touch.
Yes, please.
So, until next time, Millie, thank you so much. And
have a great afternoon, sir.
You too. And we'll keep on spreading your music around, and we'll hear from you very, very soon.
Cool. Thanks very much. Take care.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.
You too, Millie. Bye.
Bye.
Alright guys, that was Millie Manders, and that was a lot of fun. Hope she doesn't mind calling her chick, but a very cool chick at that. So it was a great show, and I will be back on the air, I was going to say tomorrow, but not tomorrow, on Friday. We have Bloggers Corner, which is normally at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, and it's going to be bumped up to 3 o'clock. Just got a few things, so we're going to push up a little bit later. And then at 10 o'clock Eastern and 7 p.m. PDT, which is the West Coast, we'll have Richard and Jill from Meter Bridge, which I'm very excited about. And then this Saturday, for Music Saturday, we'll have my friends and co-hosts, Matt Andersons, Catherine and Nolan, and we got 2 special guests joining us. So there'll be a few more people, and they'll be coming in-house. And I'll let you think about it for a little bit and try to figure it out. But I will be posting who the 2 extra guests will be with us on Saturday night. So until then, guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you very, very soon. I hope you enjoy the interview. Remember, you can check out Millie. She's got her own website, milliemanders.co.uk. And obviously, she's on Twitter. And so be sure to check her out if you haven't yet, because it's well worth your time. Until next time, guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Bones out.